Paris, the most romanticized city in the world, a place where everything seems a little more magical, where even pigeons feel poetic, and you suddenly believe in falling in love over a croissant. But here's the thing, visiting Paris is one experience. Living in Paris, that's a different story entirely. Today on Places to Go, we're diving into the real Paris, not just the one on the postcards, but the one you live in, the good, the frustrating, and the beautiful reality behind the dream. Let's be honest, Paris does its job as a tourist trap extremely well. The Eiffel Tower lights up every night like a show. Baguettes are crunchy on the outside, soft in the middle, and somehow never disappointing. Art spills out of every museum, street corner, and cafe. And if you've ever sipped a coffee in Le Marais or watched the sunset from Montmartre, you've probably said to yourself, I could live here. It's effortless to fall for Paris as a visitor. You're surrounded by beauty and everything feels charmingly imperfect. A slightly rude waiter just becomes part of the story. A tiny hotel room? Quaint. That hill you climb to see Sacré-Cœur? Worth every step. But then reality sets in. Paris is not cheap. Not for a weekend getaway, and definitely not for everyday life. Let's talk numbers. As a tourist, you might spend 200 euros per night on a hotel in a decent arrondissement, 25 to 50 euros per person for dinner, 30 euros for a skip-the-line ticket to the Eiffel Tower, and about 10 euros a day just on transportation and snacks. But if you live here, a one-bedroom apartment in central Paris can run you 1,500 to 2,000 euros per month. Outside the center, you're still looking at 900 to 1,300 euros. Add to that monthly utilities, metro passes, health insurance, phone plans, groceries, and you'll need 3 months' rent up front to secure a place. Sometimes more, especially if you're a foreigner. And don't forget the paperwork. In France, renting isn't just about paying. It's about proving you're a functioning adult with a thick folder of documents. Pay stubs, a French bank account, a guarantor, and a signed promise that you won't breathe too loud after 10 p.m. Now let's say you want to stay longer. 3 months, 6, maybe forever. You'll need to rent an apartment, and this is where things get, well, very French. Most leases require a garant. That's someone living in France who agrees to pay your rent if you can't. Not easy when you're new in town. If you don't have one, many landlords will just say no, even if you're offering to pay months in advance. Where to look? Sites like Seloger, Pap.fr, and Biennese are the most popular. But be warned, the apartments go fast, the photos can be misleading, and no, the shower is not always in the bathroom. Sometimes it's in the kitchen, and yes, that's real. Even if you get lucky and find a nice place in the 11th or 12th arrondissement, don't expect space. Parisian apartments are tiny, cozy, let's say intimate. I once saw a place that advertised itself as a studio with character. Translation? A mattress on top of the fridge. Let me give credit where it's due. Paris nails public transportation. The metro is fast, frequent, and goes basically everywhere. The station might smell like regret in the summer, but you can cross the city in 25 minutes flat. And if you're not into underground tunnels, you've got Velib bikes, super affordable and everywhere. Electric scooters, but ride at your own risk, and walking, honestly one of the best ways to see Paris. A monthly Metro Pass costs about 84 euros, and it works across all zones, way cheaper than owning a car, which would just collect parking tickets anyway. I've never felt cooler than coasting past traffic on a Velib bike with a baguette in my backpack, even if I almost died doing it. Now let's talk about the subtler stuff. The things no one tells you until you get here. Parisians have a reputation for being cold, and yes, it's a bit true, but it's not rudeness, it's formality. If you walk into a store and don't say bonjour, they'll pretend you don't exist. If you smile too much, you'll look weird. If you speak too loudly, American. Sorry. Meals last 2 hours. People take their lunch breaks seriously. Waiters don't check on you every 5 minutes, and they won't bring you the bill unless you ask, because that's polite. Markets are sacred spaces. Don't touch the produce unless you're invited. And don't expect a smile just because you smiled first. But give it time and give them a little effort, and the ice breaks. Parisians don't do fake nice, but once you're in for life. You can't walk through Paris without feeling its spiritual weight, from the majestic Notre Dame to quiet chapels tucked between boulangeries. But here's the twist. Religion in Paris isn't loud. It's historical, architectural, even poetic. But in daily life, it's incredibly private. France is officially secular, a concept known as laïcité. That means religion stays out of public institutions like schools and government. It also means that while churches are everywhere, most people won't talk about their faith openly. Still, religion is here, just beneath the surface. Most people identify as Catholic, though many are non-practicing. Islam is the second largest religion with over 70 mosques in Paris. There are also significant Jewish, Protestant, and Buddhist communities. You might see a hijab in the metro, a menorah in a Marais window, or hear church bells echoing across the Seine. That's Paris, not loudly religious, but deeply layered. Here, faith isn't always about going to church. It's about architecture, identity, tradition, and sometimes just knowing when to be respectfully quiet. Yes, Paris is expensive, difficult, and at times deeply frustrating. But there are things this city does better than anywhere I've ever been. Public life is an art here. People use their parks. They read, they picnic, they play chess. They sit for hours doing nothing, and that's not lazy, it's intentional. The city is walkable, beautiful, and timeless. The architecture isn't just historic, it's lived in. The smallest cafes care more about presentation than entire restaurants back home. And let's talk bread. The worst baguette in Paris is still better than the best baguette in most countries. That's not romanticism, it's regulation. French bakeries follow laws to protect quality. It's a city that teaches you to slow down, to look, to listen, to savor. Visiting Paris is easy, it's beautiful, it's inspiring, it's everything you hoped it would be. Living in Paris is hard, it's expensive, it's bureaucratic, it's chaotic, but it's also real. And in that reality, there's something even more beautiful. You stop chasing the fantasy and start appreciating the quiet, slower rhythm underneath. The city becomes less about the Eiffel Tower and more about the you that emerges when you live among artists, philosophers, and overworked baristas. So, should you move to Paris? If you've got a high tolerance for bureaucracy, small apartments, and waiters who ghost you mid-meal, absolutely. Just remember, not every croissant is life-changing. Emily in Paris is not a documentary, and no, the Eiffel Tower is not visible from every window, unless your rent is 3,000 euros a month. If you enjoyed this little reality check, hit like, subscribe to Places to Go, and let us know in the comments, would you live in Paris? Or just visit and call it love? I'm Matt, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.